Hi guys, this is Lily from Astrodesign, and today I'm gonna cover a very important topic that I already did a video for in other language last year, but it's still relevant for this year and for 2022. And the topic is about the forces of change and limitations together in 2021 and 2022 for all ascendants. So throughout almost all the 2021 year, Saturn will create a challenging aspect with the planet Uranus between Aquarius and Taurus signs. More precisely, this aspect, by the way, was also this year, the year of 2020, but for a short period. The global economic crisis started on February 2020. Just then, Saturn encountered Uranus at a square aspect. From the end of December 2020, this aspect is back in full force and will accompany us almost all of 2021, except for the months of September till November inclusive. Then at the end of November 2021 until the end of February 2022, and then from July 2022 until the end of 2022. So, as you understand, almost all year long, these energies will have a strong presence in our lives. So, a few words about each of the planets involved in it. Saturn is a limiting and inhibiting planet, the planet of lessons and karma. Commitment, responsibility, depression, anxiety, and insecurity. It teaches us about tolerance, self-discipline, willpower, and perseverance, and what are the limits that we have in our lives. It represents always the old, the structural, and the traditions, service to others, something we have that is very fixated in our life and very inflexible, and it even represents death. In the maps of countries, it represents democracy, mortality rates, the elderly, conservatism, and anything that causes public grief. Uranus represents the opposite from Saturn. All that is new, original, extremism, sudden changes, freedom, anarchy, rebellion, irresponsibility, and individuality. It hates tradition and permanence. It wants diversity and as many changes as possible. It does not have a work ethic like Saturn. From its point of view, he will not work at all and will be as free from restrictions as possible. What's good about Uranus is its intuition and ingenuity. In Taurus, where he is now and will be for several years more to come, he hates this place, and therefore it is expressed in a more negative way there. On the political front, Uranus is the planet of demonstrations, political tensions, nuclear weapons, revolutions, technological innovations, and new inventions in general. In October 2008, Saturn was in Virgo and Uranus in Pisces, and they stood against each other. They made an opposition, and there was the global economical crisis, acute financial crisis due to the mortgages and credit problems. According to history, when Uranus was at this aspect to Saturn, There was high unemployment, lack of work, and economic distress all around the world, which means that the years 2021, 2022 will not be economically simple or stable, with multiple problems for governments around the world, unemployment, and economic downturn. Also changes in laws all the time. Of course, this combination will create a lot of demonstrations and revolt by the public and against the government, against laws, and against the old structure. Remember, I already did this video back in the beginning of 2020. So, of course, it is more than relevant now. So a part of that, extreme groups will cause pogroms and problems within the state. Global uprising against authority, against the government, which will not lead to economic improvement in the near future. The war for freedom has only just begun in 2020 and will culminate in the next 2 years. Okay, so now that we understand what these two powerful forces are and the fact that they are both going to work against each other because of the square they form, a negative and a challenging aspect, we can move on to the meaning of it in the general aspect, and then I will tell you about each ascendant and what it says about it in terms of areas of life that it will ignite in your life. For more interesting videos, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to put a thumbs up in order to recognition, in order as a sign of recognition to my hard work. Thank you very much. Of course, if you'd like personal consultation with me, it is possible through my site, website, or through the contact numbers that I leave below the video. So what does it mean when Saturn is 90 degrees in square to Uranus? There is a constant conflict between the old, the tradition, and the social norms and the new. The need to be free as opposed to the need to behave according to clear law. Children born under the aspect will love their freedom very much and will be rebellious and extreme in their behaviors. They will have problems with authority, problems with self-discipline, and lack of boundaries. Internal conflicts about which responsibility to take on, difficulty making decisions in new situations. This conflict between existing preservation and radical changes cause anxiety and stress. People with this aspect are like tyrants, very selfish, stubborn, manipulative, and have trouble adapting to society. Also, they will have original energy and ingenuity. The rebelliousness and extremism here is meant to hide the insecurity beneath the surface and their nervousness. The constant need for changing the energy can cause quite a few worries and fear of failure. As soon as you rush forward in the new direction, something pulls you back to what you already know and done. So people with this aspect are constantly changing relationships, jobs, and whatnot. They have conflicts with authority figures and failure to take authority and responsibility. The only thing that balance and has its good effect is that Saturn is in the sign that he controls, that he rules, the sign of Aquarius. And it is very strong in this sign, and Uranus in Taurus is pretty weak. So even though there will be powerful conflicts between the old and the new, between law and governments and demonstration and extremist people, the old will win. Although there will be changes, but they will be slower and more calculated thanks to Saturn. We will move to each ascendant and its domains. Please note that if your ascendant is in the middle of any sign, then for you it will be less accurate. For others, you can contact me for individual advice. So let's begin. For those who were born under Aries ascendant, for you it happens between the second house where Uranus resides and 11th house where Saturn is. So the shock of changes will be in your values and economic affairs. You will find that your values change all the time because you are tired of limitations in the social field. You are tired of your social loneliness or friends who exploit and limit you. You may want to start your own business to get out of the limitation of authority over your head. There is no doubt that this year economic matters will receive a surprising change that will require you to break the constraints of your sources of income and social ties. And you will have to adapt to changes by creating new structures and law in your social sector. If the values have changed for the benefit of the family, you will want to spend more time with the family, and perhaps the values have changed for the benefit of independent work. And then you will want to be more away from home and make an effort to start an independent business, to meet new connections and people. You will have the drive to start new business ideas and to manifest them. So it is important to pay attention to where the money is going right now and keep aside in case there are sharp turns. For Taurus, for you it takes place between the first house and the 10th. Changes in your character, in behavior, will make you want to change career or direction in life. You will want to make a change regarding your goals, future. During this time, you will have a hard time accepting authority from an authoritative figure in your life, and you will want to break the conventions and boundaries they set for you. Expect extreme changes in appearance and physical health. It can also be something negative because the recklessness and speed here will be too fast for your nature, which can lead to physical injury or a drastic change that is not typical of you. Your individuality will require reference from authority figures, and if you do not get that, it will happen by force. Discipline and career frameworks will loosen, and you will want to be free from existing and restricting laws. Beware of making a drastic change just because an urge of freedom and rebellion is at your side. It will cause a career loss. On the other hand, if your career does not bring satisfaction and does not suit you, there is no way you will stay there even for a minute. For those who work with technology, innovation, and inventions, there will be sudden enlightenment that will contribute to their originality at work and perhaps even contribute to science. For Gemini, in your sector, it is between house 12, where Uranus is located, and the 9th house. It is houses that represent spirituality and supreme consciousness, connecting to the spirit and focusing on expanding horizons. This is the time when you will experience a lot of change in your subconscious, in beliefs, and the way you think. You may want to go deeper into the spiritual world to learn and dwell into something related to awareness, spirituality, and healing. It is important that it be a topic that you have chosen and not study it out of necessity, because then it will not work. Those who learn something they do not like, there will be conflicts with the teachers and other educating figures in your life, as well as father. There may be conflicts with your father, as I said, over a rigid and traditional education. You will want to escape the boundaries of the religion and education you received, to break the tradition of your parents. For those who are religious, you will most likely abandon your religion because you will find that it's too restrictive. For those who practice mysticism, an increase in intuition and impulses to break conventions for those who give advice. But it is important that you learn not to force your opinions on others. Otherwise, you will get conflicts from the people you accompany in the process of change. It is the time to give freedom to your opinions and those of others as well. Your fears and anxieties will not stop you from breaking down the barriers to learning and counseling. You will want to teach others and advise. You may even settle abroad or work more with foreigners. For Cancer Ascendant, in your map, this will take place between house 11 and 8. This year, you had a lot of innovation and original ideas regarding sources of livelihood and business, extreme changes in social circle and your business relationships. You have a strong desire to get out of the sphere of control in marriage or business relationships, out of financial control over you by other factors like government institutions. If you need to take out a mortgage this year, then think well if it is really a commitment you want. Otherwise, it will bother you and limit the freedom to fulfill wishes you have. Any financial commitment should be examined in a magnifying glass, because the need for freedom, wish fulfillment, and networking can be limited to the financial responsibilities. You will want to get out of psychological and introverted fears and be more around people, to make new friends and new connections, or to use secretly the resources that you have. You would like to be diverse on the sexual side. The conventional ways regarding intimacy and sexuality may not suit you right now, and you will want to try something different from what you're familiar with. Here, one should be careful, because if you are in a relationship, you will have to consider the partner's sexual needs as well. Otherwise, there will be conflicts and infidelity. Your desire for new acquaintances and big events can also overwhelm your partner, and if you are in a good relationship, it will ruin it. No doubt you will be very social and will not want to be limited by fears, psychological traumas, or your spouse. For Leo Ascendant in your map, this is the 10th house where Uranus is staying, and Saturn is going to be at 7th house. House 7 is a good placement for Saturn, so it can finally bring a serious and committed relationship to the singles. You may want to break career conventions and be free from the limitation of working as an employee and start your own business, maybe even in partnerships with others. It can be that extreme and sudden changes in your career and direction in life will make you want to break the rules and restrictions you have from agreements and contracts that will no longer be relevant to you. You will have a hard time accepting the authority or bosses. You will want to be free from bosses. For those who are in relationship, it may be a very limiting for you, and it will cause you to disconnect and go out in a new direction in your life, or stay longer in your career and give less attention and less treatment to the marriage or your spouse, which can also eventually break you apart, break the relationship. If you are in a business, then there will be lots of changes that will require adaptability from you, and otherwise originality, in order not to close the business. For some of you, if you had limitations in relationship, business, legal matters, it will all end and set you free, even if it is not something you necessarily want. It can be a time when problems in your relationship will be more prone because of you wanting too much freedom, or having to focus too much on your career path. So pay attention to that area as well. For Virgo ascendant, Uranus is going to be in the 9th house and Saturn in the 6th house. Saturn really likes to be in the 6th house. Here, he loves to overcome obstacles, enemies, competitors, and copes well with health problems. Breaking convention and going free will be at the field of your work and occupation, and also about health matters. You may want to lecture and teach others, to be more spiritual or healer therapist, or engage in healing, or alternatively learn something that broadens your horizon and contribute to your work. In any case, no job that does not really satisfy you will last. If you are an employee in a frustrating job, it will frustrate you even more, and there will be conflicts with colleagues and authority figures at work, which will resolve in dismissal very quickly. If you had earlier delays and restrictions regarding the job you want to do because of fears or lack of self-confidence or a sense of self-incapacity, now it's all gone. You have the courage and you will overcome all the fears regarding to your future, your luck, and the potential of your work. You are very rebellious, original, and innovative about your work, and will only engage in what you truly love. In this reason, for some of you, it will be very hard to find a job, especially as an employee. The reason behind it is if you are not going to find jobs that you really love, it will not happen for you. Not this year, and not the next year. So it should be noted that you need to take on commitments that you really want in matters of work, study, and teaching, travel abroad, dating people from different cultures, and higher learning. The 6th house also talks about debts. So if you take on a debt, like mortgage or some loan, make sure that it is for a very important purpose and that you will be able to meet the repayments. Expect a full year of new experiences, expanding horizons, overcome competitors and enemies you have. Even health improvement is definitely expected for those who are looking for an alternative cure for their diseases. Lots of optimism on the employment side and an exit to the freedom of employment that you dreamed of before. For Libra ascendant, in your map, Uranus is going to reside in 8th house and Saturn in the 5th house. Expect radical changes in your psychological side, in the assets and money you have in common with your spouse, and in matters of intimacy. You will want to break the limitation associated with your children or creativity or pleasure and joy in life. If the children limit you financially, you will disconnect this financial bond, because you will understand that it restricts you from purchasing a property with the partner or from doing something for your own good. Your relationships won't be stable, but temporary pleasure relationship can work out. For singles, you are going to chase after the pleasures of life and intimacy. For those in relationship, there may even be infidelity and sexual hedonism at the expense of your partner. Those who work in creative fields, it can bring you lots of original changes in your creativity and getting out of the box. Those who invest in stock market, there can be extreme changes and very large losses. You do not want routine love, do not want the boundaries of your spouse or children. You want something original in the intimacy realm. Enjoy other people's money more. This is what you will seek for. There is material hedonism here at the expense of others and the expense of love and romance. So watch out for that. For Scorpio ascendant, Uranus is going to reside in the 7th house and Saturn in the 3rd house. Expect radical changes in the field of personal partnerships, such as marriage and business, which will affect family traditions, norms related to family, home, and emotions. You will want to be free from the limitations of your home and family, whether it's changing spouses or changing business. For those who have business, you will want to profit from the business in a home setting. Maybe even start a home-based business. If you were afraid to tell your partner what you really feel, this year you will be very brave and say what is on your mind and soul that can cause a sudden change in your marriage, for better or for worse, depending on the aspect of the planets in your natal chart. The boundaries and rules of the family you have created, as well as the physical boundaries of your home and surroundings, no longer satisfy you. And you will want to experience something new with or without your spouse. For some of you, this will be a period of divorce. For the rest, changing living conditions. Your responsibilities regarding family and home will be severely tested by this transit. You may be tired of caring for children when your husband does nothing. You may also need a relationship with lots of freedom and no limitations. Escape from family and domestic commitments. You will have a desire to be more independent, especially for women. A change of residence may also be on the agenda, and it is possible that this will happen as a result of the dissolution of the marriage. For Sagittarius ascendant, you have Uranus in the 6th house and Saturn in the 3rd house. So radical changes will occur in your work, in your employment state and health issues. Saturn loves to be in the 3rd house, where he is very brave and full of self-discipline and perseverance. But he hurts the communication and relationships with the younger siblings, the neighbors, and your immediate environment. because a lack of communication, understanding with the immediate environment, especially when confronted by the reckless Uranus, who does not think before saying or doing anything. You may be trying too hard to break the boundaries of your immediate environment, and this will harm your health. There may also be very sudden changes in employment and health conditions that will require you to change and adapt all the time, and it will just be exhausting and sometimes without results, which will cause some frustration. A desire to break the conventional and law of the immediate environment will require flexibility in your daily habits and routines. Sagittarius is not the most flexible sign in his opinions and worldviews. He wants others to listen to what he has to say without any resistance. But next year, it will not work for him. Conflicts can occur with colleagues at work because of your communication and because of the need to be free from routine, and inability to persevere with work tasks, and inability to work as a team together. Dismissal or change of life habits due to laws and norms that you would not want to hear from the immediate environment or to obey to. It is better to be self-employed during this period and not employees. And take care of health, maintain a healthy lifestyle. For Capricorn ascendant, Uranus is going to reside in the 5th house and Saturn in the 2nd. So for you, the restrictions going to be from your family. It will be unbearable and you will rebel against them and do whatever you want. Because the 5th house is freedom by itself. It's pleasure, enjoyment, and it will, you will feel that there are restrictions because of parents or because of your financial burdens. But Uranus will not care. He will want you to spend more money on pleasures. The more, the better. Your need to experience joy and entertainment will be stronger than your financial abilities. Financial investments will experience a crazy roller coaster ride, and it can hurt your self-esteem. Because of financial problems, you may have a hard time finding a relationship or enjoyment in life. Also, extreme changes as a result of children or from a birth of a child, then there can be some kind of financial problems. You will want to give the children more, but there will be nothing to give, or it won't be the same as your financial matters. So for singles, it can be radical changes in romance and love affairs, changes in spouses, nothing stable, all for sake of momentary pleasures. You may invest a lot of money because of a dream or passion that you have in life, which will cause a financial problem and not lead to expected results. Excessive recklessness in the field of pleasure, financial investments such as the stock market, realization of passions and relationship with children or spouses will lead to a desire to go beyond the limits of your savings in the bank. It can be alternatively that you will try to get money or assets from your parents to achieve more enjoyment in their expense, and they won't let you do it. And the frustration will be because of them. For some people, there will be manipulations on their parents to get more out of them. Rebellion against the parents if they do not agree to give you money. And it will be a strong need for radical change and freedom of action that can harm relationships with parents on economic grounds. You feel right now restricted because financial issues and problems with your parents, generally speaking. For Aquarius ascendant, Uranus is going to reside at the fourth house and Saturn in the first. So extreme changes will occur at your home settings in the family, with the emotional world within, with the basic life, with the roots of life itself, and possibly also with your mother. Chances are high that you will move into an apartment or renovate and change your living environment. Fears and limitations in your character will not be able to hold you from the freedom you will want to achieve in your family and physical security aspect. There is a chance that a mother's health will deteriorate, and this will require you to adapt and change your needs and behavior. There can be a drastic change in your appearance as well. It can be a rebellion against authority figures who will want to limit the personal development and expression of your individuality. Your personal rules and boundaries will stand and have tests in the home settings, in relationships with your mother and family members. Problems with the people you live within the home from children may make you more rigid and establish stricter rules. Sudden changes in the emotional world, in your emotional values, will cause you to break conventions and patterns of behavior that you have had so far. The need to adapt is high, but will lead to conflict because you may not want to change or to change your home and the basic feelings that you have. You will not want maybe to go out of your comfort zone. But the energies in the universe will require it and will do anything to make it happen. There can be conflicts with household members and because of household matters. What has held you so far and kept your character and identity stable is going to change big time. For Pisces ascendant, Uranus is going to reside in the third house and Saturn in the 12th house. So here your thinking and awareness abilities, as well as communication and relationships with the immediate environment, such as siblings, neighbors, all these areas are going to undergo a transformation. You are much more courageous to demand your communication freedom, to express yourself as you wish, and to break the limits of your fears and anxieties. Being introverted will no longer work. The need for freedom of expression will take you out of your introversion and shyness. If there were limitations and you were afraid to say what was on your mind, it would change. At the same time, your communication is very reckless and does not think much, so it can definitely create conflicts with your siblings and the immediate surrounding. You will want to get out of your limitations of loneliness. Do not let fear stop you, but beware of road accidents and other physical damage on short trips, especially. This can cause you to feel isolated as a result of hospitalization. It's a good time to go through spiritual healing, to learn something new that will help to let your subconscious mind let go of the control on you. You will go beyond the boundaries of the mind and subconscious. During this period, secrets about you and yours may be revealed in the media, and it will not be pleasant. Pay attention to who you say and what. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos like that. And please put a thumbs up if you liked the video. Until the next video, take care. Bye-bye.